I'm
Yes.
joking, obviously. My username is a little bit more boring.
Well, it was easy to remember because Alec was talking about you last episode all the time. So he was like, yes,
Yeah, I guess that
next episode, yes.
Yeah, I guess this is the reason why we didn't like introduce ourselves, because we kind of like, were thinking that we are like friends for a long time already since we hear like your name for.
This is like one of the things that happens to you like after you work at GitHub. So I worked at GitHub for a couple of years, and in GitHub everyone uses their usernames. You never use a real person's name.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like nowadays when I see someone online, I'm just like, oh yeah, there's their username, that's their name. And then it's only when like I get put into an in-person situation with them where I'm like, oh no, I don't know your name. I can't call you your username. Like, so yes, awkward.
Yeah, the same thing here in Discord. I have zero clue what's the name of people, like most of them. So I'm like, fine.
Actually, and some people we keep calling by the colors they have in Among Us. Like for example, we have orange, and everybody knows who orange is because.
What's that film? Reservoir Dogs. With the film where everyone is like Mr. Pink and Mr. Blue. Yeah.
So yeah.
Where are you based, Laura?
Huh?
Where are you based?
Oh, in Belarus.
Nice.
Glorious country of Belarus. And what about you? Because this information I didn't tell.
Yeah. No, I'm in Amsterdam.
Oh, nice.
Which is nowhere near as sunny as my background suggests.
Yeah. I heard that there are like a lot of drama in
we have
Netherlands.
I was just telling Karina we have a lot of riots.
Yeah.
People are unhappy about the curfew. A little bit of it is, the usual things. There's like a lot of like, oh, coronavirus is a hoax going around. But some of it is, there's a 9 p.m. curfew and we're in lockdown, so like losing their jobs and whatever. But yeah, I haven't seen the news from last night yet, but the night before we had like 200 arrests, and there was like videos of people looting supermarkets and setting fire to stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. What is going on there?
Exciting times. It's also just like, it's going to be wild because we have our elections in March, and like the government has made a complete mess of everything. The government just had to resign because of a benefit scandal. Now we've got riots. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen in March. It could go really badly.
Amazing! What a time to be alive.
Yeah, surprised that it's actually happening in Amsterdam. I mean, in Netherlands, because I can expect that from Belarus or Russia. Well, I'm Russian and Lewis based in Belarus, right? But I mean, Netherlands.
Well, this is something I've only learned since moving here, that apparently the Dutch have like a good tradition of rowdy and riotous behavior. So like New Year's Eve here is like being in a war zone. Like there is just people in the streets setting off illegal fireworks, and like they'll buy them from whenever, so they're all really weird. And the government has tried to crack down on it multiple times. Their most successful effort to crack down on it was by saying like, hey, don't do fireworks. Instead, we'll do big communal bonfires on the beach. And then the bonfires got so big and so dangerous, the government shut them down. And so there were riots. So just like the Dutch people will riot over like literally, if you tell them they can't do anything, that's it. That's a riot. Which is, it turns out the country was also founded after a revolution. So I guess it's kind of a cultural identity. It's a fun place.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely wasn't what I definitely knew about none of this before joining. Like my first New Year's Eve was like a big shock. It was terrifying. How are things in Belarus now?
Well, nothing interesting. The same as usual. People are getting arrested here and there, and that's it. That's it. Nothing changed much. I mean, yeah. How it's in Russia, Karina?
Yeah, well, it's kind of the same, but I would say it's not that dramatic yet as in Belarus. They kind of trying to, to learn some stuff, how to lead the crowds, because they already have some experiences.
Well, I don't think that they care, actually.
I think they care in a sort of way that they want to prevent even more people going out, right? Yeah. So that's why they try not to really go hard on people and not to beat them that hard, because it will cost just even more people.
Beat them not that hard.
Bring out the soft sticks for this one.
This is so bad that it's even funny. I mean, I don't know what to tell. Yeah.
Yeah. So as usually, we ended up talking about politics. Very nice.
It's, I mean, what coronavirus or politics? Those are that's
Yeah,
all that's
yeah.
available in our lives at the moment. Discord is nice. Let's talk about Discord. Discord is fun.
Yeah. Everybody has something to share right now, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you based. Like, I mean, Russia,
Yeah.
Belarus,
Yeah.
Netherlands,
It is
anything.
definitely a what they call a global moment, I guess.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
If we
yeah.
would have a person from States, they will share something as
They'd be
well.
very
I'm
happy
pretty
right
sure.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that it's all quieting down over there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. What a
I feel
time to
bad.
be
I
alive.
have a couple of friends here who are from the US. You know, for the last like couple of years, it's been like kind of like, oh, thank God we're in the Netherlands, and then this week it's been like, oh, damn it, it's all gone wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you right now. It
Exactly.
happens the same shit everywhere. And you're like,
Exactly.
you have to sit at home, so the only things that happening around is like politics or coronavirus. So nothing much.
When the news about the riots made it to the UK, like all my family messaged me, being like, "Are you okay? Are they near you?" And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm in my flat. Like, how would I even see them? Like,
Yeah.
Well, here I only see like a bunch of pretty old people protesting. It's always
Against what?
like Catalonia stuff, I guess. I don't know. I didn't want to to get really close to that, but I saw it. It's pretty calm. They just stand in there with their distance and everything.
Oh, okay. At least with distance. Yeah. I was about to say the spreading coronavirus among all old people, or how does it work? But
dangerous time to go to a protest.
yeah. But like when you don't care about when coronavirus is not the worst thing that's happening in your country, you are like whatever.
Yeah.
I better die than live in such things. So
tell us a little bit more about your background, because I keep asking Ole all the time, like, how did you guys met? And I mean, what did you do in common or stuff
So
like
we
that?
met through Games DevRel, as you could probably expect. So I've been a developer advocate for a couple of companies, and at one point, one of those was a games company, which was Improbable, who I guess are more of a military contractor now than a games company. But at the time, they were a games company. And at the time, Ollie was at King, working on Default, I think. So yeah, we met at games conferences. I think Nordic Game Conf was the first one, but then yeah, like literally our paths crossed constantly because all the games evangelists are always at the same events. So that's where we met. And then actually, I think we went freelance around the same time. So I joined after Improbable. I joined GitHub and worked on like education stuff for a couple of years, and then went freelance 2019. And yeah, it's funny. I think I've had this conversation with Ollie before about so I like where I got my start kind of from student hackathons, and it's always been really funny to me how separate like developer relations and like developer relations in one industry is from the other. Like in like web dev, we have like hackathons. In game dev, there's game jams, but like it's the exact same event, but they do not mix at all. It's like completely different crowds, and it's kind of the same in developer relations. Like what y'all are doing here with DevRel events and like the stuff that like Ollie has started as like his background's a games evangelist is like literally mirrored in amongst the web evangelists and the web advocates. Like there is like the same stuff going on, but it feels like there's so little overlap, and it's really fascinating. So I'm very excited to be here. This is like crossing the streams to me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I
And
see.
the reason what's going on in my head right now, and I look so puzzled for a reason. Actually.
Oh, we didn't look at you.
Your streaming
Yes.
setup like absolutely fascinates me.
Yes,
This is
and people commenting about that. So my audio filters have gone wrong for some reason in the streaming setup. So I'm trying to repair them right now. Give me 4 more minutes,
That's all good.
please.
No problem.
This is why people on Twitch. This is why blame me for some reason.
Yeah.
good. No live stream ever starts on time. People come to live streams for the chaos. It's fine.
Yes. So please continue with the chaos. I'll go fix stuff I broke.
And how about y'all? How did I mean I saw DevRel events spin up. I've been following, obviously I follow Ollie, I think I follow a bunch of you on Twitter actually, and like, I've been following your work, but like how did this all get started? Where did it come from?
Well, I guess
Corinne tell.
me and Ollie, we've met like in 2012 or 13, something like that.
Right.
Also, when I was working at mobile game developer company,
Cool.
and Ollie was evangelizing for Unity, and we've
Right.
been using Unity as our technology
Yeah.
for creating games, right? And
Yeah.
then, yeah, so we know each other for a pretty long time, and we'll come from game dev backgrounds.
Mhm.
And then at some point, it turned out that, I don't know, I left my job before when I was working for a monetization tool, which was also
Yeah.
for like game developers. And then
Right.
Ollie also had his, like on a free journey, let's say. And then this is how we met and put together like DevRel. And then back in those times, there was something going on already.
Right.
And Lera here can tell the story of what was actually going on there. when
No,
I
you
joined
know,
them.
you can tell. You can tell.
Yeah, so these guys they've put together already some let's say meetups for
Cool.
developers, and they've been searching for a forum for
Mm.
those meetups. And Lera has also her background and studies in Korea and Lithuania. I don't know why I'm telling this for you, Lera, but yeah, yes, I'm
It's
promoting
very
you.
nice. Yes.
Yeah, and
Well,
she
just
has
wanted to test your knowledge. She just wanted to see how much you knew.
yeah. So Lera has her Gen Z view on everything that we we are trying to put together, and
Yeah,
she's like
yeah.
coming over all the time saying, "No, I don't like that."
Yeah,
That's
it's a great
something.
job here, literally. I'm just coming and saying like, I don't like this, I don't like that. You're
Yes,
doing
I'm
some
Gen Z.
bullshit.
I'm listening to you right now and I'm thinking, actually, I like what is happening. Please continue. Maybe you don't need me.
Yeah, it's just
No, it's okay. It's okay. You
but
can
I don't
come.
know how comes this broke. But yeah, like one
because
and a
you're
half,
using
like
Windows computer. That's how.
Yeah.
90 seconds more, please, and
No
and we're
problem.
good.
I have
No problem.
like the same setup. I'm talking to you on my Windows PC right now with my main Mac next
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me, but I use it for streaming because, as I'm sure Ollie has had complained about in the past, nothing for live streaming works on a Mac, and so you have to use a Windows PC.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm just kidding here. It's been like a long,
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
process.
you do a lot of these, right? How often do you go live?
A week
Weekly?
at least once. Yes.
Yeah, sometimes a couple of times a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have only really gotten into like developer related streaming since the pandemic, and I've been really frustrated by like, there's lots of data and wisdom out there for other types of streaming. Like if you're a game streamer, you can find out like what time you should go live, what day you should go live, like that, all that kind of stuff, and there's none of that info for like devs yet. What platform are you finding is working best for your audience at the moment? Is your crowd like a YouTube crowd or a Twitch crowd?
Facebook, actually. Yes.
Whoa, that is
Surprisingly,
fascinating.
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
Surprisingly,
think
yes.
the reason for it, well, of course, we have our community on Discord, and this is something that we are going to talk about right in a few minutes. But Facebook is apparently working for us the best as a promotion tool, I'd say, because we
Right.
have our professional networks up there, and
yeah.
if we stream live, and I'm pretty sure we're doing this right now, we see that actually a lot of people are watching us on Facebook.
Mm.
Oh, I can hear myself right
Yeah,
now.
it's doing something there.
Panic
Yeah,
wave from
so
Ollie.
Facebook.
That is fascinating. That's super cool to hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the equivalent for me, like I definitely don't. I used back in the student hackathon days, like Facebook was my life. But I kind of came off it a little bit. So I'd say like the equivalent for me now is definitely Twitter, where it's like Twitter is just DevRel LinkedIn, really, isn't it? So like we don't live stream there, but like definitely all of our viewers come from promotion on Twitter.
We do live stream up there sometimes,
On
right?
Twitter?
Oh yes,
Twitter?
actually.
We are live on
They
Twitter right
just
now.
killed Periscope,
Okay.
didn't they? How is that? I have so many questions.
Right now,
How-
how comes? Is it like the echo in my head, or I don't know how I broke the audio setup. But anyways, we are right now live on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
This
For
is
example, you
completely
can open up my Twitter account and probably you will see it. I know, like honestly, I don't know how. Last stream, 60 people found how and watched that. So
On Twitter?
so, yes, on Twitter, 60 people on
Wow.
Twitter. So last 2 weeks, exactly this like Discord thing set up.
Yeah.
I think we had 400 something views on Facebook,
Yeah.
60 views on Twitter,
Yeah.
and our usual Twitch audience, it was like 90, 19, 20
Yeah.
people, but average view time for on Twitch was about 34 minutes. So I mean,
Fascinating. Yeah.
Twitch people, it's less of you people, but we love you so much. And
Yeah.
This is where our moms are watching us, huh?
no, probably not.
That's why.
Yeah. Well,
Probably
that's super
not.
cool. And I think it's for me, this is the first time I've been part of a live stream that's been run by Discord, which I feel like is like very appropriate for what we're here to talk about. Because like this is not a use case for Discord that I had ever considered. So I'm very like we do office hours and stuff in some of our Discords, but like using it, and I guess you're grabbing the RMTP, Ollie, but like using it as the production room is super cool.
Yeah. And as you see on Twitch, or like if you can open up live stream, you can see that there is an overlay of people talking on Twitch. And then there is a background that is being composed in real time. And yeah, so we use pretty much Discord as a composer. And basically we cool out Discord background as a green screen,
right?
And this is how we have a fancy background back there. So
Very cool.
for example, I can do it like this, and this is the background, and
Something's
then
changing?
we're back.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can open up Twitch on
Okay.
and see what's going on.
On phone, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people watching us, can you, I know, wave, say something if the audio is better right now? I think, right. Lera, can you not swear, please? We ask her
Silently
to not
swearing
So
there
this is a-
somewhere.
we ask her to
in
not
the
swear.
Twitch chat.
Try to be professional, and she found herself in Twitch comments. This is overlaid on top of the video. Please be nice. Try to find the best of yourself.
So, but we're
Next
not
time-
family friendly today, right?
Yes, of course. Last time you told me not to swear on video. I was like, okay, all right, I'm not gonna swear on video. So I decided to swear in comments, and now you're saying like, don't swear here, there. What am I supposed to do then?
Yeah. So Joe, if you ever consider to hire a Gen Z to help you, this is your experience. Like this is what you're gonna suffer from.
I'm on board. This is great. Like
or enjoy. I don't know.
Or you can do all my streaming events. This is wonderful.
I don't know, like if it's a struggle or if it's a joy. So let's try to think what gonna happen in the next 30-ish minutes. In the next 30-ish minutes, Lera gonna stop swearing. That's like one thing. Second thing. that didn't work.
That came across like super Essex. Perfect.
That didn't work. Right. Okay, let's try to do it again.
Yes.
Where even was I? So in the next 30 minutes, we will talk about what Joe does for life, about Interhacktive. We will discuss him telling other people how to set up their Discord servers and set up Discord communities for money. And we will discuss like general practices of what are the best use cases for Discord, perhaps, and how to better start an own Discord community. But before we start, I want to actually share the screen that may or should put you, and especially Joe and myself, to tears.
Oh, no.
Wait for it. Tears incoming. Tears incoming. Tears incoming. There we go.
I
Tears.
don't want to press there.
Tears.
Oh,
Oh my god!
Okay.
Oh yes, that was in Berlin. That was at
Köln. This is Köln.
that
What
was
do we
during
see on the picture?
Game Week.
Gamescom?
Yeah.
So
no,
what
it
we see
wasn't.
on the
This was in the
picture?
backyard of the indie event that used to run next to Gamescom. Yeah, sorry, Ollie, go on.
Ah, right.
Yep. And I think that's the indie event that Tobias used to run, right?
Yes, yeah. What was it? I can remember the logo. It had like a orange phoenix as the logo, but I can't remember the name. But it's super cool. It's gonna be a
Yes.
for me.
Okay.
And I just remember that, like, I mean, just remember the times where we could travel. Like, look,
Yeah.
there is sun and happy people and
Yeah.
multiple game dev events like at the same place. And I think to get to this event where this selfie was taken from, we had to commute by bus
Yeah.
or like walk a few kilometers,
It
and
was
it was
wild.
still
Like
fun.
Cone is not a city that is like, laid out. It was like all this stuff was happening in this enormous expo center, like way out of the city center. And so like every day you had like the migration of the game devs as all of them left the city to walk over to this expo center like 2 miles away. Yeah, it was a great time. And that was like a little gathering of you were at King at the time, I was wearing an Improbable t-shirt, and there was two Unreal Engine folks there.
Yes,
I can't remember who the
short
guy in the
and
bottom right
Jess.
is, which I feel about.
And
Yeah,
look,
Jess is
people used to have haircuts, as in they used to
yeah, yeah,
they used to
yeah.
go to
Right.
barber shops and
It has been.
hairdressers.
I
Like,
realized the other day. It has been literally a year since I last had my haircut. Like a
same,
full 365 days. It is bleak.
same. So
Your
we
beard
can
is.
have a
I'm loving the
competition.
braids. That's very Stockholm appropriate.
We can have a competition of who transforms into Chewbacca faster. And
Perfect.
I'm not
Oh,
Right.
that's a very, very emotional. Go. Thank you for
Yes.
picking that up.
Yes, 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 yes. And right, so we have overutilized the warm-up time, but let's actually start talking about why
Yeah.
is my screen so creepy?
It looks
Like
beautiful.
it's black and
Oh, I see.
one
You look
second.
like in movie. It's okay.
Yeah, it looks very. It looks like we're on what's the like we're on Super 8 film.
Yeah.
It looks
I don't
very
know.
cinematic.
I can
I don't
actually
know.
perfectly see you all. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Something's
in
wrong with
Twitch,
me?
it's no.
Twitch.
It
Okay.
looks like it's like filtered a little bit.
I don't know.
Yeah, we have color grading. We have
I
color
see.
grading, but I think this color grading has been approved by our famous millennial.
Daniel? I don't know.
No, Zoomer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I made you sound old. But yeah, this color grading has been approved by Lera. She's like artist,
Because
designer, and she
this was
has,
the best that you could do.
as in, right. Anyways, I am sorry for technical things. I don't know what I broke this time, but let's pretend that everything is good. Let's pretend that everything is good, and I promised to fix it for the next stream.
All right.
Right. Thank you for thank you people for hanging out with us despite all the technical troubles. Blame this onto me. Throw heavy things. You can even swear in the comments.
Lera will
you
support
cannot.
you.
You cannot. Right. So
Shit.
once again, we are here today to discuss Discord and how to set up a Discord server and how to do it best. And we have invited Nash from Interhacktive to share his wisdom because this is pretty much he does for money. Joe, did I introduce you right? You set up Discord servers
Yeah.
for money.
Well, kind of. I do just like a big part of my work is helping people create community spaces. So I guess like it's not always Discord though. So I help companies that do products for developers like game engines or like APIs build communities. And so a big part of that is choosing a platform. And increasingly, I'm recommending Discord to people because of the features it has. That's my wonderful website made by Kevin Lewis, who's currently over at Vonage. It's ignore the copy. The copy was written by me. All the visuals were done by someone who knows what they were doing. And as you can see down there, we were talking a little bit at the start about like game dev backgrounds, and a couple of you are being from Unity. I work a little bit with Unity currently on some education stuff, which is very nice. Don't work on my Discord stuff, but some other stuff. And yeah, a bunch of those clients that I work with, are creating community spaces or already running community spaces. And so a big part of my work is helping them find a platform that works for what they're trying to get out of a community and that's appropriate to the audience. And then making sure actually, they run it well. So I do community
And what are
difficult
the
things with them.
rivals?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was
it's
wondering the same
Discord
thing.
or what?
Yeah. So this is kind of like where a lot of my work comes down to, which is I try to help people think about what their community is actually doing before they think of a platform. So I think that's one of the things that often goes wrong and is one of the reasons why a lot of communities end up on Slack. And let me bring that around for a minute. So like what happens a lot of the time is people go like, oh, I want to make an online community. I already use XYZ app, and so I'll start it in XYZ app, right? Like very rarely do people say like, hey, what is this community for? What are people going to do on it? What do I want people to do on it? And what are the platform features that help that happen? So Discord, that's where Discord is like my front runner at the moment because it like it's very flexible and it has these embedded voice and video channels and it has like roles, so you can make it work for basically anything you want. But like if, for example, you're dealing with a purely professional crowd, I still do recommend Slack sometimes because people are already in Slack, so it's easy for them to join another server. But I try to avoid that because the moderation is terrible. And then if like you are mostly a knowledge sharing crowd and you care about that knowledge being available on the internet, like you probably don't want something like a chat app. You probably actually want like a traditional forum. So that's usually where the divide comes down. It's like, do you want is your priority like accessible and indexed information, or is your priority serendipity, like the easy ability to meet people into chat? Because then that will decide whether you want discourse or Discord. And then once you're in those two categories, it's like, okay, what like how many people are in this community? Do you know all of them? Because the answers to that depend on how important moderation is.
Mhm.
And if it's a really big community or it's an open source community, moderation is probably very important, so you probably want Discord. Or is it like a security, is it like an activism group? Then you probably want something built on Matrix. So like it comes down to, it's kind of like trickle down.
I love that you brought up metrics. I love
Yeah.
that you brought up metrics and open source geeks watching us right now. Google right now, like what metrics is. Pretty much metrics can be plugged into Jitsi, and suddenly you have your own open source Discord clone. Oh my god,
It's
open
so
source
cool.
Discord clone. You can do this
Yeah.
yourself on your own servers and set it up, and it would work very badly unless you know what you're doing. But open source, hype.
I love how
Um,
exciting you guys look like.
Yeah, me and
I'm-
Chris were just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
It's
I want to
really,
pop up. Yeah, go on.
Go ahead,
Sorry. I just want to come up with this like super stupid and super probably straightforward question. Why is it hard to set up Discord? I don't get it because
Yeah.
it's not my full-time job, to set up
Right.
Discord. It's usually something
Yeah.
that Ollie is doing, and
Yeah.
I'm usually responsible for the business part.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I mean, why is it
So
hard
this is
to
actually
set it
like,
up?
so a little while ago, I started a Twitter thread where I was saying like, hey, if you're thinking of making a new community on Slack, like I will give you a free hour of my time to convince you not to do that. And a lot of that was because like I think the Slack moderation is terrible, and also like Slack as a company have said they don't care about communities. So like, why should you give them your time? They don't care about you. Like, don't care about them. But a lot of what I heard in those calls, when like a lot of, as I said, like I would recommend what worked best for people, and a lot of time that was Discord. When I was, a lot of what I heard about why people didn't want to use Discord was because of how like they felt it was very complicated to set up. And this came from like some really surprising places. Like there was a community that was based around, some open source technologies to do with one of the cloud providers, which is like, there was some like intensely technical people in there. And like for those of you who haven't had to customize a Discord before, Discord is super flexible and it has, all these channels and then roles, and roles set the permissions that what a user can do. And unlike in Slack, where there are no, like your options, either admin or not, right? In Discord, you can control access to literally every piece of functionality. And so if you're new to Discord and you're setting up a Discord server the first time, that is already very confusing, right? You've got this huge list of like buttons, like, oh, I don't know what people need. Which one of these settings are dangerous? Like you need to configure it all. And then you set your roles up and you get that sorted, and then you start creating channels, and you realize that you might want different permissions for different channels, and then if you go to try and change like a particular permission on a particular channel, you have to do all of that again, and like there's nested like roles can inherit from channels and categories, and you end up with like nested permissions, and so it gets very overwhelming very quickly.
And then you click sync button,
and then it breaks
and then
everything.
it breaks.
And there's no undo. Like you have to then just go manually reset it.
Yeah.
And so you
on
end
our
up with
server, it's normally Lera who does that. Lera, share your experience. Like, how did you do? You still swear when you try to set it up?
Actually, like wanted to fix something in our community, something about roles and permissions also. And I is like, oh, it's super easy. Just go here and there, and you're gonna fix it. I'm like, all right, okay. And I'm like doing stuff, and oh shit, I broke everything, like literally everything. I had such a panic. I'm like, oh my god, what should I do? And he's not replying, obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, should I delete all our Discord server or? Because I fucked up everything, but no, I figured out. But yeah, it brings a lot of stress usually. So that's why I'm doing everything at night, so nobody would see that I'm fucked up.
Yeah, I did the exact same. I had oh, this was so annoying. So for those of you who don't currently use Discord, or who have just recently started, you will have avoided this, but Discord's like up until March last year were entirely gaming focused. They were trying to compete with TeamSpeak basically, and then they rebranded. And now they're focused on communities, which is great and solves one of the big. I used to really struggle to recommend Discord to people because when you started it up, it would have gaming memes in it, and like there was lots of communities for whom capital G gamers is a warning sign, right? But now it's like a lot better. But they're also launching all these great features, but up until some of these features we've had to make do. So like the prime one is like rules and code of conducts. So many servers used to do that with a bot, where when you joined the server, you had to like message the bot to agree to the rules before you would get the permissions to post anything, right? So about a month ago, I had just done that, Laura. I had spent the whole night setting up all of the settings so that the everyone role had no permissions until they agreed to a bot, and I spent the whole night setting that up, and then moved all 3,000 of our Discord members to that role. Like I did the transition, got everyone to agree to the new rules, and the next day, Discord launched the new rules screen. Like literally the next day. I was so mad. And then I had to undo everything overnight again and move everyone back to the other role and put in the new rules screen.
Oh no.
Which I think this is one of the areas that, like, to get back to the core question of like why is Discord hard to set up, I think this is another thing unique to this moment, which is it's all changing very quickly. Like if you started a server like a month ago, like if you started a server like say July 2020, by September, like there was community features, there was the welcome screen, there was discoverability, like all of this stuff would like requires setting up, and like you have to know to sign up for it. And announcement servers, um announcement servers are now a special channel that people can subscribe to, and like they act fundamentally different to every other channel, and there's not really any way to learn about that unless you've seen it in action before. So yeah, there's just because there's so many changes, it's taking a little while, I think, for the docs to catch up, because like a lot of this stuff is still in like announcement and forum threads, right?
The docs, since you mentioned the docs, and each time when somebody mentions Twitch docs, not Twitch docs, but
Discord
each
docs.
time when somebody mentions Discord docs, I'm like, these are one of the best ever docs that I have
They're great.
seen.
Yeah.
They have characters. It's like stories. Even Lera, the famous Zoomer, would have fun reading Discord docs. Lera, did you try reading Discord docs? They
No.
have characters like
Little
actual.
elephant dude, whatever he's called.
Yeah.
Matt will know. Matt, what's the Discord mascot called? I feel like you would know this. There's a Matt. There's another. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Matt. Matt IP4 in chat is community manager or community engineer. Sorry, I think might be the correct title over at DigitalOcean, and runs a couple of
Wumpus.
Thank you. Yes, and runs a couple of their community spaces, including the Hacktoberfest Discord, which is absolutely enormous. So we have a true Discord pro in the in the chat right now.
Oh, Matt, please, can we have you one of the next lives, please?
Sorry, Matt, I've set you up now.
I have invited Kevin, Joe, you
nice.
from.
Yeah,
I have invited
got
Kevin by your advice. I have invited Orbit folks who have just recently moved from Slack to Discord, and I have invited the community club, Comsor people. They have a Slack community, and also they have utilized dev.to engine. I forgot what it's called.
Forum with an E. Forum.
Yes, forum. They have so they have also like double communities, and it's interesting how forum. How did they set it up? So that's what's coming over.
There's actually like I want to call out a couple of things and like if those folks end up on the show, I want to set them up a little bit. Kevin is actually a great example of the Discord setup thing. So when Kevin first started doing You Got This during COVID times, he hadn't been a big Discord user before that, and we had to jump on a call to go through like just fundamental differences between Discord and Slack. One of them that always trips people up is how the channels work in Discord, because people are used to like, you create a channel in Slack and you can join it or leave it, whereas in Discord they're always there. And I think that is true, and that is kind of annoying, but also like because of categories, it's very easy to, spin up a channel, use it for a short amount of time, and then throw it into an archive category and hide it or something like that. And so there was all these kind of things that we were running through that were good for conferences, like You Got This, because Kevin wanted channels for like a particular event that was happening, say January 2020, and then he didn't want to remove that chat history because it was useful to the attendees, but he didn't want it to still be around for the next year's conference because in Discord it would stay in the sidebar. So that's where things like, hey, creating an archive category and moving it into there, that you do that, and you can't do that with other apps. So yeah, some of the ways in which, like just the nature of Discord and its permanent things used for conferences, Kevin will have some great things to talk about. And then Orbit in particular, I have referred to their Slack to Discord migration with other clients, I think 3 times this week, where I posted the screenshots of how they did it, because their communications around it were so nice, and I hope they talk about it. So first up, they announced they were thinking about it, and they wrote up a whole proposal on Google Docs and shared it with the whole community, saying like, this is why we want to move to Discord, this is why we think it's better, let us know what you think. They left that for a month, and then when it came to the actual transition, they announced it was like, cool, it's moving day, we're going. And they first of all incentivized, so if you move to the Discord, you get a sticker. And then they announced 2 new community things that used Discord features as like, like hey, we said Discord was better for these reasons. Here is that in action. So one of them was like, every Friday there'd be a games night, and that happens in the Discord voice channels. And then the other one was we're going to start doing office hours weekly, again, using Discord voice channels. So that was really cool because like the community, anyone who was unsure about that transition, like straight away got offered like, here are 2 things we are doing that we can only do because of Discord now. And so that was like a really nice like carrot to get people to move. It was very well done.
And do people consider like technical technical options that Discord is giving? Because it looks like, I mean, technically voice and video options, technology is like amazing here in Discord.
Yeah, I think I mean, like y'all are the first people I've seen like hooking into the voice and video channels and like in this way. I think most of what I see from the developer side is bots. So like lots of people, and I spend a lot of time talking about this in one of the other streams that I do with Race.dev. Like the Discord API and ecosystem around bots is really interesting. Sorry, I just dropped something that's really going to bother me. Yeah, it's really interesting. So obviously Slack has loads of integrations, but Discord and like the Slack API is a very good platform and is probably equal in power to the Discord one. But I feel like there's some really interesting things with the Discord API as a result of its gaming background, which is like, the game devs and the community. Like, how do I put this? A lot of the stuff built for Slack is business applications, whereas all of the stuff that's available in the Discord API ecosystem was built by communities for their communities. So if you're just getting started with like starting a server and looking at what's available out there on the API, it's like you will probably find something you can repurpose. There's already going to be a general purpose community bot built by a gaming community that you can use, right? And again, because like this is kind of, I'd love to hear to what extent you agree with this, Ollie. one of the really interesting things about game developers versus, like web application developers is like game developers write code because they're trying to get something done, right? They just want to make the game, and that is why they came to code. Whereas like a lot of web application developers, like code for code's sake, and they like messing around with their tools. And this definitely reflects in like the Discord API ecosystem. Like there is a lot of stuff to just make a bot work really quick with Discord, whereas like I feel like in other chat application API ecosystems, sometimes there's like a lot of tools and setup for the sake of having tools and setup.
And if I can jump in and say,
Yeah.
with the current infrastructure, or no, with the current, what do we call it, environment, with the current, like, I'm trying to assemble my messages in one single place, while also reading and replying to comments in multiple places. It doesn't work. Don't do it like me. I'm doing it the worst way possible, and people throw shit at me in the chat, and you are right for doing that. What I was trying to say, that there is a plenty of no code ish options, and mostly via bots on Discord. So even the artsy people like Lera, they can just implement complex things.
Right.
And for example, Lera Atlas bot, it's super flexible. It has like a ton of buttons and a ton of settings, but you don't look puzzled with it.
Well, because it doesn't look that complicated for me. Even if I'm artist, it doesn't mean that I'm dumb. Like,
Okay, go on. Go on.
That's it.
Can we talk actually about bots just a bit, Joe? Like, so Atlas, that's also open source, and I like it. It's a bit slowish, but it works. Atlas.bot. Then Me6, that's what often people use.
Me6 is very popular.
And it's paid, and it's hated in the bot community for being slow. And Twitch Shift. Tweet. We renamed it to Twitch shit, so I don't remember how it's called originally.
Let me find it. Wrong search engine.
Shift.
I
It's
guess is
also
Twitter.
Yes, and it's super flexible.
Just repost everything that Oleg posts. Very nice, very nice bot. He loves it very much.
We have personal relations with that bot.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's good to have a healthy relationship with your bot. Matt said
what are your
Me6,
favorite
aka
bots?
Meme6. So for me, I actually am really into a particular bot collective. So my individual favorite bot is Yagpa, yet another general purpose Discord bot, which is at that lives at yagpa.xyz. So yagpdb.xyz.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, and it's exactly what it says in the tin, right? Like it's like, there's all these Discord bots like Me6 that basically do the same thing, and they give you basic functionality like moderation, support, and the ability to set up roles and have menus. Yagpa I like because it leans into it, where it's like, yes, we're another one of those bots that does the same thing, haha. But what's really cool about them, if you scroll right to the bottom, you'll see that they're part of something called botlabs.gg. So botlabs.gg is kind of like a collective of bot makers that's owned by a company who does something to do with streamers. I can't remember exactly what. But they are still like all maintained in the open by the original creators, but they then have support from this collective and from this company. And so why that's important to me, and this is a little bit, less interesting to the communities out there, but more interesting to the companies who are doing communities, is that, these bots are backed by, a real company and not some stranger somewhere on the internet. So if I'm recommending a bot to a client, like you give Discord bots some really heavy permissions, right? Like they have the ability to read everything in your Discord and to collect your user data. It makes me feel a lot safer where I can say like, hey, here is this bot. It is owned by this company. Here is their privacy policy. And that company, has another business that is making money. The bot is not their business. So they have no reason to like, disappear overnight or to do weird things with your data. So that's a big part of the reason why I like stuff like Bot Labs. They also run Carl, which is very popular. Carl.gg is again another general Discord. Yeah, Carl, CARL.gg. It's again another general purpose bot. So Carl and Yagpa are basically the same. And then they have a couple of others that I haven't used. There's like a music one and a couple of gamey ones. And you can also, if you make a bot, you can apply to be in there. But yeah, they're my two favorite ones.
Music ones. Can we
Yeah.
can we pause just a bit here? And I see many Discord servers have this music approach as in you join a voice channel and they'll have the bot play some music to you.
Right.
What are the use cases that you like about that particularly?
So this is really nerdy for me, because I use that mainly to run D&D games in Discord. So I
Okay.
like use this is the only time I've ever actually used the music bots. Though now seeing your stream setup, in a lot of the streams I run via StreamYard, I have music in there. So if I was doing a stream like this, I'd probably also bring some music in via a bot. But yeah, when I do I DM some D&D games where I would get my playlist set up with one of the music bots and bring them in. But in a community server, I haven't found a use for it yet. There's like a couple of servers where they have casual co-working channels where having some elevator music I think would be quite nice because one of the things about virtual co-working is it feels like there's a lot of pressure to fill the voids, I think, to fill the silences. So just having some music play on one of those channels could be really good. I realized I was typing a response to what Matt said in the Twitch chat, but I can say it with my mouth. Matt said every bot is required to have a proper privacy policy now. Discord enforce it. True, Discord enforce the existence of a document, but what assurance do you have that some random developer in their basement is doing anything like that, right? And you have no more insurance. You have no more insurance of a company, but there's more. I feel like you're more likely to get some enforcement action from at the GDPR level against a company with a registered entity than you are against Steve the bot maker, right?
Hyperbeast, if you're listening to us,
Oh yes, yes, we have one favorite dude that came to our Discord community and he made some bot
Yeah,
and he's pushing us like, "Oh, can you add my bot here every fucking day?"
yeah. Nefarious permissions. I mean, I spoke about bot labs as being and me liking that as a collective. Like that is just in terms of when I recommend something to clients, I need to be able to tell them. I need to be able to tell them that the user data story. As an individual, on my own projects, I always hack about my own bots. I use stuff that other people I've made. I'm part of why I really like the the Discord ecosystem is because it's so easy to go grab another bot from Discord that exists, and sorry, not Discord, from GitHub, and throw it up on a cloud provider yourself. So there's nothing wrong with indie bot makers, and arguably
Well,
it's
maybe
just
unless
like
it's
tough
qualify
life.
Hyperbeast.
them. Yeah, yeah.
Unless it's
But if
Hyperbeast.
you are making a bot, be conscious of the fact that most of the scopes that your bot asks for ask for a lot of data, and you random Discord server owners don't want to give all of their users' data to you. Be conscious of that.
Right. We've been live for quite a bit of time, so let's try to make a kind of summary.
Yeah.
Kind of summary. We've been talking about the bots a lot,
Right.
and for Slack users or for
Yeah.
forum users, why would you want even to use a bot?
Right.
So the answer
Yeah.
to that is this is a sort of no-codish way to embrace a Discord API.
Right.
That's one thing. Second thing, automation.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that?
Well, I feel like for Slack users, everything that you use a custom slash command for in Slack is that's what Discord bots kind of fill the gap in. Discord doesn't have as many of the inbuilt reminders are a good example. Slack, you can do / remind, and every Slack has a reminders thing built in. With Discord, you use a lot of third-party bots for that kind of thing. And just like in Slack, where you can go into the Slack admin panel and make a custom slash command, you can do the same with Me6, with Yagpa, with Carl. All the bots we've mentioned have an ability to make custom commands through their web panel. So that's kind of where it I guess would be the easiest transition for Slack admins to use them.
So bots, that's one thing
Yeah.
that we have discussed and that distinguishes Discord
Yeah.
from everything
A
else.
really big thing
and
I really want to get to, and I cannot overemphasize this enough, and I don't want to pick on Slack in particular, but I'm going to because they deserve it. Slack do not want your community on their platform. They just don't. Literally,
but they
I'm not
want
even
money.
lying.
But they
They do
want
want money, but I'm not even lying. You go to their Twitter, you will see tweet after tweet of them saying Slack is made for people that have HR departments. They care about companies, they don't care about communities, and that comes out in some really impactful ways. there are very few moderation features, and there are no personal moderation features. You as an individual cannot block someone, because in a company that makes no sense. Imagine if you blocked your manager, it would be chaos. So for Slack aimed at businesses, that makes sense. But if you're building a community on it, it is very hard for an individual who is, having problems or being harassed to protect themselves. And so that's like the biggest thing to consider, that like Discord, part of the good thing about Discord coming from the gaming community is they've seen the worst of humanity. And so there is good moderation tools on Discord. And people can
That's
deal with these
true.
problems. Yeah.
But anyways, if you have like relatively small community, does it still make sense for you to
No,
run
so
it on Slack
this is a
or?
great point. So if your community is either very small or very intimate, i.e., like, it's a group of 5 friends who know each other, like, then the moderation is not a big deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're not likely to see that kind of behavior in that community, and if you are, it's probably going to be dealt with via other ways than moderation, right? So if you are already like on Slack and say, you're a village book club or you're just a group of friends, you don't need to bother migrating. It's not a big deal. But if you are thinking of making a new community for, say, a new open source project or like a big event, and you're making it from scratch now, you are better off starting with the moderation tools, right? If you're already on Slack and you're migrating, there's more trade-offs to consider, because you'll lose people in the migration. And so like it's worth considering, like, how intimate are these people? Do they know each other in real life? How easy is it to join this Discord? Do we vet members? Because if any of those are true, then moderation might be less of an issue. But if like you're starting now, you may as well have the moderation tools that you can, right?
Yeah, but I
Kevin
mean,
from
like,
You Got This Conference, if you're watching us, this is what we're gonna torture you on in one of the next episodes. How do you run a conference on Discord? How do you set up? Like, how do you address all the issues that Joe has just mentioned? Karina, please.
yeah, I was just wondering if it's 5 people. I mean,
Yeah.
you can use Telegram or something like that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But can you give some, I don't know, some tiers maybe or some benchmarks if you are aiming like, let's say 10K, 1,000
Right.
members community, then
Yeah.
for sure Discord, right?
Right.
Or maybe it's something like if you're aiming something up to 100 or up to 200, I
Right.
don't know, that's Slack
Yeah, I
or
think it
something
depends
like
more
that.
on what features you are after rather than necessarily like the size. So like Signal and Telegram are like a great example where, like, if all you are doing is just like chatting and you just want like a spontaneous conversation, then like they're great. It's a single thread, like people can reply to each other and whatever, but it's just, a single thread of nonsense, and that's perfect for the format. But like, if you're 5 people just chatting or 5 people working on a project, you have very different needs, right? Because if you're 5 people working on a project, you probably want channels so you can separate your conversation. If you're 5 people in the company, you're going to want, a random chat channel and then things per project. So it definitely does depend on the application, and I think that matters a bit more than the size. In that case, like if you're going up to like, especially when well, actually the size does matter, because as you start to get bigger, obviously you need more organizations. That's again an area where like, I even for companies, I think Discord is better because you have roles and categories, which allows like more organization. You can start to like, if you're as you're let me take a step back and summarize that in a neater way. I think Discord is still the better choice because Discord will grow with you, right? Like if you start out with 5 people, you have one channel and one role, and it's fine, and it has a mobile app, and it's good, and it's just like Signal. If you add 20 people, you can add more roles and you can add more channels, and you can separate who gets to see what. Like a prime example, this is actually the Discord that I hang around with, like my old school friends. Originally, it was just us. We've been friends for 20 years. Like it was all open. We were all posting in one channel. And then, we start to add newer friends. Like I would add someone like a flatmate, someone would add someone they went to uni with. And so like that circle grows. And as it grows, we wanted to separate, like, oh cool, here's the people who have known each other forever and, are very comfortable with our acceptable language and jokes. And so we have a separate channel for our own disgusting behavior, but not for everyone else. And so like I think that kind of parallel can run in a lot of things. And so with choosing a platform, it's worth considering, because moving platform is so painful and is always hard. It's worth choosing something that will let you future proof. And at the moment, like Discord are just investing a lot more in the future of communities than the other options are. So I think like future wise, I would still recommend Discord. But if you are in terms of like right here and now, look at what features you actually want and which platform gives them to you the easiest and go with that would be
And
That's a really great
this
point. Kane.
has been the great recommendation of where do you start with Discord and how do you start? Since I see people just doing a totally Slack-like structure when they start the Discord service, and I'm like, I'm hiding from Discord in this nice new thingy. Why do you make this Slack again?
Right.
And start
When
small.
really you can shape it,
figure out.
however you want. Yeah.
We've been live for so long, so I feel a bit I don't know. I don't think we can hold
to
you.
Get off.
No, not itchy to get off. I mean, we're stealing your time, right? So, what do I mean? There's so much to talk about. Like, how do you embrace audio channels? And D&D was one of the examples, and music. So like we touched many things, but we'll dive deeper into that in further episodes with other people, and perhaps we'll have Joe back.
We'll give them time to. I don't want to steal everyone's content. The other guests should have some stuff to talk about.
I think this core topic is endless. But Lera and Karina, do you have anything, Joe, to ask? You have your star moment right now.
Yeah, I probably asked all my like straightforward questions, but I still wondering like why Discord for community? I mean, why not have it, I don't know, on Instagram or something like that? Well, I can understand, but I mean, I just want you to summarize that probably.
Yeah, so I think the main thing is it has a. If I was to summarize, it's like a good balance of features that are important to a community manager, like moderation and like the ability to structure things in a way that you can manage, whilst also accessibility for the end user. Like it has good mobile apps, it has a very simple account system, whereas like all of the other alternatives fall short in one area or another. And so I just think at the moment, and this is actually something I haven't said, which I usually do, so I should probably say it. There is the unfortunate thing of community tools is they're all bad choices, right? Like there is no, at the moment especially, there is no perfect community platform. Everything has a trade-off in a way that really hurts. And I just think that in this moment, I will timestamp this for any future video users. In this moment, January 2021, Discord has the least trade-offs, is what I think my opinion on it is.
Perfect.
Lera,
Cool.
we want to get you back just because you're sleepy and we want to highlight you, like to pick on you.
Lera was setting up bots yesterday, last night. You know,
I about Lera's art. Where
That's
can I
the
go to learn
reason.
about Lera's art?
Yeah.
You forbid me to swear, so you know.
So you don't know what to say. What
Yeah,
words
I don't
to
know
say,
how
right?
Nothing
how
to say now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about Discord and structure, since we had to change our server multiple times, and when I was doing that, you didn't like it, and then you would redo it every time.
Yeah.
So what is about the Discord structure that, for example, we have right now, like as an evolution, that you want to boast about, or to highlight, or to advise?
I don't know. I'm just. I don't have anything like rules with how I'm doing that. I'm just doing how I feel. I'm like, oh, I feel that I need to put here there because right now it looks like shit. And yeah, because when I came to Discord, I like already had this community, and I was like, what the hell is going on there? Why it's so boring? And I don't want to be there. So I started to shape it off for like how I would do it for myself, how I would like it. So right now, at least I like it.
So the number one advice of yours is to not
Listen to
have
this
an old, to not have an old boring dude run your community.
Well, I think like I don't know what I hear from there is think about it like you would a member of the community. Like it's very easy, I think, for us to get stuck in the needs of an admin or a moderator without thinking like what does the user see and how does the user feel about that space. I think that's super cool. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting way of approaching it.
And Joe, so I'm showing your website again, but what are the best ways to ask you, like to give you money so you set up a community?
Yeah, for sure. So as it says there kind of at the top, I work with people in a variety of different ways. So I work with some people, a couple of days a week permanently. I work with some on like a one-off project. Have a look if there's anything that interests you or you want to chat about anything. Up in the top right of the website is the contact page, and you can reach out. I will say, I am currently fully booked until at least April.
So you don't need
I'm
money.
drowning.
You don't need money.
Please do not go give someone else money until April, because otherwise I will actually die. But if you've got a project coming up later in the year, I would love to chat to you, and you can find it on that page. Thank you very much for showing that.
Then Joe, I wanted to release you, but now that you brought it up, that you're totally booked, do you think that community manager or community is suddenly becoming a thing in year 2021?
Um,
Like
I
community as a
yeah.
product, community as a service? I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise, how
That
comes
was
you're fully
very,
booked?
you said a really key phase there. So I think there's two things that have happened in 2020, 2021 that are very interesting. Um, Obviously, a transition of a lot of physical communities to online spaces, and in general, a lot of people, because of COVID, had like what was their community was like decimated, and they needed to re-strategize how it worked, right? So there was a lot of that. So a lot of just like a big shift in what was already there. And then the key thing you said, which I am still very interested in how it's going to go, is community as a product has, really exploded in the last year. And there's all kinds of like paid communities now, and things like mighty networks, like platforms for running a paid community. And you mentioned Comzor as well. Like a lot of the people in Comzor's community club are people running community as a product. And
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I'm super fascinated to see where it goes. It's all very new and exciting to me, and I think
Yeah.
it's still very early days for it. I'm in one, I think one point that I suggested to you before the show. I'm in a paid community for freelancers called Array, run by Andy Bell, and I've really enjoyed it and found it really valuable. I haven't, I know, I feel like I'm only able to generate opinions on things after I have like had a reason to play with one myself, and I haven't found a reason to do a community as a product yet. So I'm still leaving my opinions to the experts. When you have the Comsor folks on, I'm sure they will have some really interesting things to say about that.
Yeah. And also, Eddie, you are one of our next guests.
Oh, is
Eddie is a
Eddie
popular.
around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all our friends are around, and Max
I
and
feel
Alec.
like
I
I'm
mean,
stalking Eddie. I had like Eddie came on one of our shows. He's been doing Battlesnake stuff now. I saw him doing GitHub education stuff yesterday. I feel like Eddie, we need to hang out more. We keep popping up in the same places.
yeah, we should, and it's just like a nice. Yeah, I mean, friends all
Oh,
around, and thank you for hanging out with us, and thank you for
thank
being
you
part
so
of
much
this
for having me.
community.
You've been wonderful.
And Andreas Brook doesn't want to release you.
Oh,
He asks to ask
oh,
the
what are
last
its
question.
drawbacks? Cool. What are its
Yeah, the
drawbacks? Yeah.
drawbacks of Discord, and let's
Yeah.
promise this is the last question
Cool.
before we release Joe
Yes,
and
and
say
I'll
everybody
answer it
goodbye.
very, very briefly. So one of the nice things about Discord versus Slack is you have one account. You're not creating and tracking 50 accounts. One of the bad things about that is they don't let you customize your identity much between servers. So if like let's say like you're someone like me who used Discord because they were into video games, and so I'm in some video game Discords, and now I'm also using it for work. I do not want my real name and my real profile picture in the gaming Discords, and I do not want my weird gaming avatar in my professional Discords, right? And Discord lets you change your nickname. It does not let you change your display picture per server. So that's one thing that's bad. The other drawback is what was I going to say with the other drawback? The other drawback, which like is not necessarily for me, but I hear a lot, is people find it very busy, and I think that's because of the default you are in every channel. And I don't really know what the solution to this is, either for the Discord as a product or or a community manager. But I hear a lot of times, especially in my Twitter threads about this, that people find Discord very overwhelming in a way that they don't with Slack. And that's really interesting to me. And I haven't quite gotten to the bottom of that feeling yet. But if that sounds like you, if you're someone who finds Discord really overwhelming, I would love to hear from you. It's really something that I want to see if there's a
Yes.
way for us as community
Since
managers
it
to
doesn't
address.
for me as well. Since it doesn't, and it's so easy to set up and fine tune
Yeah.
what like all the pokes that you're getting from everywhere, and there
Well,
is
a
so
great a
much
great
to
example of
unpack.
this is like with someone on Twitter last week. We were talking about why they found it overwhelming, and like this comes back to what I was saying to Karina's question earlier about like setting up stuff, which is like there are settings everywhere in Discord. Every menu is hiding some
How
settings.
cool is
And so, like,
that?
well, kind of, yes, but also like this person,
For techie dudes, yes, that's cool.
No,
But for
for
someone who wants
getting
everything by
paid.
default, I mean,
Yeah.
it could
Yeah,
be
but
pain
like,
in the
for
ass.
example, like you have a settings wheel at the bottom of the screen. You have settings per channel, and right at the top of a channel, there's a little hidden drop down which lets you mute all notifications on the entire server. This person didn't know about that, and so they found it very overwhelming because they thought to mute a server, you had to mute every channel individually. And so, like, these are some of the problems where
That's
I
my
think they
case.
just need to, right. They just need to
Yeah.
like there's a lot hidden in different menus, and I need to condense some stuff and make it easier to find, I think, is the other drawback.
Yeah, that's true. Can totally agree, 100%.
Interesting thing that both drawbacks that you have mentioned, I treat as features, and I like them.
Yeah.
But let's
They
not.
have feature-like elements to them, you know?
I mean, declare a bug a feature, and we're done. And let's close this show and thank Joe Nash once again from Interhacktive. This is his website. Don't go there. Don't give him money. He doesn't need that anymore. Give that to
I don't
somebody
agree
else
now.
who needs money more.
But thank you so much for having me. It's been super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Joe. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And next time we'll have a small hangout after the show, off the record in our Discord. This time I broke all the technologies so much that once again, people who were adding poop emotions to my comments in our Discord, you were totally right.
You are
I deserve
appreciated.
all the. I don't appreciate it. I think they are right by throwing poop at me because I am to blame. I am to blame. And
I
Larry is
do also.
Yes, you
I think
did.
it's a very
I'm
cool
pretty
setup.
sure.
good.
I think
People, thank you. Yes?
it's a very cool setup, and I'm definitely going to have to go see if you've written about it because I've never seen this before, and I'm very intrigued.
No, but so many people ask about that at some point I'll get convinced and show it and explain it probably. But yeah, thank you. Goodbye. It was such a pleasure.